Hey, what's up, folks? This is Cinema Hooked. I'm Chris.
And I'm Anna.
And today we're talking about Alien Earth, Episode 4.
Observation.
So, really good episode. Lots of things happen in this episode. Lots of weird things, lots of cool things, lots of messed up things. But let's talk about some of the more messed up stuff.
Lots of uncomfortable things. This episode made me the most uncomfortable from all the 4 so far we have seen. So let's talk about this.
So one of the weirder, kind of uncomfortable, head-scratching ones was Dame Sylvia and her husband Arthur kind of just talking about the ethics of these children and whether or not there's actual children in these synth bodies or if it's just an AI that thinks it's the children inside these bodies.
So they meet up in this like quiet spot in like this little tropical paradise and they have like the secret meeting. Then Nibs interrupts them. She's like, hey, I want to like, can we like talk?
Big news.
Big news.
Yeah, big news. I'm pregnant.
I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And they're just like looking at her like, okay, what's happening?
Yeah, and Dame's just like, that is big news.
That is me.
Why don't we go talk about it?
And they just kind of like usher her inside.
Yeah, for a little therapy session.
So they start the therapy session with Dame and Nibs is just sitting in this chair. She's petting this like fluffy thing. I don't know if it's
some sort of stuffed animal.
Some stuffed animal, and she's just like saying, oh, I'm like picking up names for my baby. If it's girl, it's gonna be this. And she like keeps talking to it, almost like conspiracy theory. She's like, it's gonna be this. And then she looks at Dame. It's very creepy. It's giving.
It's like secret. She's like, da, da, da.
Yeah. So you don't know what she's saying. I don't know if anybody watched Red Dwarf, the TV series, but there is one episode when he has like a puppet and he talks to it and it's creepy like that. So that was a little tangent for like British comedy shows. So then she talks to this and then Dame is like, hey, so I don't know how like, if you know how pregnancy works. Nibs is like, well, I grew up on a farm, so I know how it works. So they kind of like skip the part. She just says it's like female and male bodies just like connect and they make a baby. And she's like,
together.
Oh, they fit
together.
They fit together. And she's like, do you want to see this like diagram? And
she keeps repeating. She doesn't want to see the diagram.
Yeah, she doesn't want to see the diagram.
But Dame Sylvia keeps persisting to show her.
To show her. And then she's like, she pounces at her. It's crazy. It's like tense. She's almost, I feel like she wants to choke her.
Well, no, she kicks the book.
And then she just like pounces on her, and you can just start seeing like how Dame, she's just like, she's kind of like shaking out.
She pounces on her after she keeps trying to get her to talk about the incident.
Yeah, exactly.
With the eyeball alien.
Yeah. So she doesn't want to talk about anything. She's just crazy.
Yeah, and ends up just jumping across the room and is like in her face. And then that's what she asks her if she wants to have some tea.
Yeah,
just to try and settle things down. So she walks over. She hits the little panic button underneath the desk. And then some security comes in. She makes up an excuse like, oh, I forgot I had a meeting with Boy Cavalier. So these gentlemen are going to escort you back to your room. And then that's when she says they have a code 3. And she said they'll know what that means. So just secure the door. And we don't see Nibs for the rest of the episode after that happens. Moving on in the episode, we get to a scene with Kirsch and Toodles and Boy Cavalier and a bunch of security guards. And there is a lovely little sheep inside a glass container, which obviously they're going to be doing some sort of experiment on.
Something horrible. So now let's dive deep into this uncomfortable scene.
Yeah.
When I see a cute little sheep, my first thought was like, I hope this is just all CGI. So then we see this like little opening inside of the glass container and you can like see this little, like the tentacles are crawling out and then you see the eyeballs and they're like looking around and it just plops in there and then the sheep starts like going like, what is that?
Yeah,
so I was like, no. And then it thinks, and then it just like sounds, weird sounds and there's just like blood and then you can see everybody like looking at the glass and then like hearing weird sloshing sound like, and then they show it how it like pokes the sheep's eye out. And then it just like nests into it.
And then it like stood up on its hind legs and like with this momentum like jumped down and then it like detached.
The eye was like bloop.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
They've got it hooked up to like kind of some readers to like read like brain activity and stuff. And they can see that Toodles points out like, oh, the lines have changed a lot on the graph. And you can see that Kirsch says it's a very, very highly intelligent being. Obviously it's not talking, it's a sheep. But if it were to inhabit a human, we do say that it probably would speak English. It probably inhabits all the memories and like everything that the life form they take over.
Inhabit, exactly. That was my thought too. It's just like, so it has limits of what life form it's inside. So if it's like inhuman or maybe even in like a robot. I don't know if that would control.
I don't know if it can get into a synth or not. It tried to get inside of Nibs.
Oh, that's true, but she was too strong, so we don't know what would happen if it got into
Yeah,
her.
I wonder if it could take over. Like, it's not AI, but it's like it's a electronic brain. So it'd be
So,
interesting to
we
see.
don't know.
Maybe we'll find out before the end of the season. In this episode, we get a little bit deeper into the relationship between Moro and Slightly, which is obviously an abusive relationship because he's just taking advantage of Slightly's just good character.
He's almost like a child predator that you can see on the internet.
He's manipulating.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
these guys were super old, but they go to like Fortnite lobby and they're like trying to chit chat with like 13-year-olds. So it's
creepy.
really creepy. Yeah.
So originally, Moro's trying to get Slightly to steal an egg, which, I mean, the eggs are huge. I'm sure they're heavy too. I'm sure they're not lightweight. He does try and do it at one point in the episode, but then he's interrupted by Toodles and he gets flustered. And that's when he tells Moro, like, I can't do it. And that's when he gives him the new plan, which is, I just need you to find somebody, take them to the egg, get them real close, and then, it's going to attach to their face, put them somewhere quiet. It's going to be a rough couple of days for them, but then they'll wake up and then you can bring them to me.
Yeah, he even asks, he's like, is the person going to be okay? And he's like, oh yeah, totally. They're going to just couple of rough days.
Couple rough days.
And we knowing what we know, we're just like, oh, a couple of rough days.
Speaking of Moro and Slightly, we also see Kirsch inside the lab, and he's watching playback footage of that initial kind of
Meeting of Moro and...
Yeah, when they kind of had that altercation on
In
the crash
person.
ship, and he can see that Moro puts that listening device on Slightly's neck. So
So we were like, oh, he sees it.
yeah, he sees it. It's like, okay, he sees it. He's going to catch him, right? And so we do see Kirsch is listening, and he can hear Moro's audio. At first, I wasn't sure if he could hear both channels, but we definitely know that he is listening in on Moro. But he's not acting on it yet, which is really curious. I don't know if he's wanting to see it played out. I mean, you had an idea.
I had a theory that he's letting it play out because he wants to catch the person that's like on the other side. So he's just like, okay, let's develop the plan and then we'll see who that person is, but who knows?
Yeah, like we'll just keep an eye on him because I want to catch him. But
Yeah.
it's interesting that he's not interfering yet, so it'll be curious to see like where that goes exactly. But speaking of him having to find a person, he seemed really upset about Wendy's brother being there and allowed to live so far because earlier in this episode, Moro blackmails Slightly and he has his mom and he mentions his brothers are coming
Brothers,
home.
yeah.
So now he's trying to do this plan and he's like, why is he allowed to live here? And she's like, he's my brother. And he's like, I have brothers too. And so I understand the frustration. All the kids now want to see their parents, but Moro's like manipulating Slightly and it's completely changing his personality, which, really sucks.
It's really sad. And then we can like kind of see that he's kind of like zooming on like Wendy's brother.
He's focusing on
Yeah,
Joe.
so we're just like, oh my gosh, is he gonna like be the one that's gonna be lured into the egg nest? So
I don't think Kirsch is going to let it happen. I don't think Kirsch would let it go that far.
I hope not.
But we saw Kirsch later in this episode. Wasn't he around the eggs? Didn't he go into the egg room?
Yes, he was, and he
Oh,
just,
eggs,
like,
he touched it.
the
He
egg.
touched
like,
it and it was slimy. Yeah, it was really gross.
goo.
Before we get to the end, which was kind of one of the cooler parts of this episode, I want to jump back to the beginning where we get Wendy waking back up from after she passed out at the end of episode 3. They're testing her and they're asking her about what exactly she heard. So Joe's there. They've brought Joe in. He had his surgery. They gave him a new lung, which was so nice.
So
and gentle.
nice.
No strings attached.
Exactly. No strings attached.
at all. Nothing. Not a thing. They wake her up. They're asking her, if it was the alien she was hearing, what were they saying? Obviously, she doesn't know what they're saying yet, but he says, what did they sound like? To which she replies, it sounded like bugs, like rubbing their legs together. And they're like crickets.
Like crickets. And so she's like, well, I don't know how to like let you know how it sounds. So the boy cavalier, he's like, well, just think about your mouth as a speaker and just reproduce that. So she thinks about it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we get this like little like zoom in shot on her mouth and she starts making the sounds
Yeah,
and it's
with the
very creepy. It's like,
Yeah. Creepy, just like a xenomorph is.
yeah, exactly.
And it was really cool. It was really cool.
It was
really
awesome.
creepy, but it was really cool how she did it. And you can see that Curly's like jealous because Boy Cavalier says you may be able to speak French, but you can't do that.
Yeah, he was like, do you hear that? And she was like, no, maybe. She said maybe. And
Yeah,
he was
so
like, don't lie to me.
Well, he says, "Don't tell me what I want to hear. Be honest." And she's like, "Nah, I don't hear anything." Going back to No Strings Attached, basically they've kind of blackmailed Joe and Wendy. They've told Joe that he can live there. So under the condition that he basically works for them now, and he needs to basically, he's like their beta tester. So because he actually knows Wendy, he can actually determine, okay, did the procedure work? Is that actually my sister? Or were they able to download her memories and it's just a computer that thinks that it's his sister. It thinks it's that person. So that's really interesting. They basically tell him like, okay, well, if you don't want to do that, then we'll send you off the island. You'll never see your sister again.
And you have to pay for her lung.
Oh yeah, we'll send you the bill, which was crazy. Like
probably have to like work 300 years
forever.
to
Yeah,
pay
just
for
forever.
that.
He had to get put into a synth body so he could work forever.
Yeah, exactly.
And then what sucked about that, he's being manipulated, and Wendy's being manipulated too, because he's talking to Wendy, Boy Cavalier is, about how, no, I think your brother's got to go.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think he can stay
and
here.
he's kind of doing the same thing that Moro's doing. He's manipulating Wendy just the same way that Moro's manipulating Slightly.
Because every time he says, "Oh, I'm just gonna send him away," she's like, "Please no," so he can see how much she cares about him, and he's using it against her.
And he tells her, "Okay, well, I guess I could let him stay if you can figure out what the aliens and xenomorphs are saying to one another." Which, I mean,
she says, "Yeah, I think she's actually interested in them."
Yeah, she's generally curious about these creatures, like almost in a caring manner, which leads us to the last part of this episode. So let's get into that.
So in the last scene, we see Wendy walking into the lab where Joe's lung is. It's like in this little like case, and it's
hooked up to a respirator.
It's expanding, and we see Kirsch in the back. He's watching what's happening. So she's just looking at it, and all of a sudden we see like this blood starts leaking out of it into the water. So she like gets closer. She's like, "What is that?" And then it just like bursts. And then from the glass case, it bursts, and like a little baby xenomorph just like slithers out. And it just like slithers on the table. And we're like, "Oh my God, it has like the little tiny legs."
Yeah, its arms are like tucked in because they haven't like developed.
And then we see Wendy, she's looking at it, she's like interested, and then it starts doing the little sound, and it's like coming like towards her,
back.
and she starts like talking back, and she goes like closer to it.
Yeah, she's like hiding
and
underneath the couch. She's
like a little,
like she's like amazed by it.
Yeah,
Like it's like
yeah.
it's a little puppy.
Yeah.
Or like a little kitty cat. And she's just like, "Oh wow, look at this cute little
it's so
thing."
cute.
Yeah, and she doesn't really have any fear right now.
No.
I mean, she's a child. You'd think she'd be scared, but I mean, she fought a full-on xenomorph and decapitated it.
But
so.
I think because kids are not taught to be scared of things. That's why kids like collecting bugs. They like collecting spiders because nobody taught them, "Oh, you should be scared of it." Or nobody said, "Ew, it's gross." So she sees this creature and she's like, "Wow, what is this? It's awesome." So
I thought it was a really great scene.
I loved it.
So earlier in this episode, we were talking about how Nibs was talking to her little plushie, and Anna here had a great idea for some marketing.
So now that Disney owns this show, I was thinking, wow, we're gonna get a princess xenomorph.
Plushies all over the place. You could have a xenomorph actor at Disneyland.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't be scary at all. It can like squirt venom, like the acid blood on kids.
But it's gonna be Kool-Aid.
That's cool. So like I said last week when we did our Peacemaker review, Anna's not going to be here for every episode, but I thought when she is here, we would talk about what's Anna's favorite scene.
Yay! My favorite scene was the last scene. There is no surprise, because I love xenomorphs.
She's got the shirt. She's got the necklace.
I got the necklace. I read the books. I grew up with them. So I would love to have a pet xenomorph. Imagine how badass that would be. Just like walking down the streets and like the xenomorphs
As long
behind
as it's your
you.
friend.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you can talk to it. Like,
Yeah, nurture versus nature.
exactly.
Just needs a loving mommy.
Yeah, and it's just the outfits. Imagine the outfit. Like, if Labubu's can have outfits, imagine the xenomorph outfit. So
Extra large. You need to be acid proof.
yeah, that's true.
Acid proof clothing. But that's our review of this episode 4, Observation. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me. Helps a small channel grow. Maybe we'll get more of Anna because isn't she just lovely? Isn't she just great and fun to talk to and listen to? Make sure you like the video if you did like it. If you didn't like it, let me know. If you liked the episode, tell me what you liked. If you didn't like it, Tell me what you didn't like. I respond to everyone's comments, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
Next one, bye.